Well, hey,
Uh,
he's here. I was getting ready to roll without you, ferocious
I
Buddha.
thank you so much. I am at an event in Del Mar, and then I get a call that they're rushing my mom to, unfortunately, the hospital, and I didn't realize what time it was when I was talking to my brother, and then all of a sudden I hung up on him. I think his last words were, "Oh shit." So
So, do you need to run?
nope, they got it under control, and I am under control. So as long as you lead the way as I bring up my notes, I'm super excited to be here.
Okay, well, super excited to have you here. I'm so sorry about your mom.
Yeah, that's
We,
fun.
we,
We all
we
have
talked
issues.
offline about this.
Yeah,
We
thank
just,
you.
you and I both got stuff going on. So, it's
Yeah,
a fascinating world in which we live.
yeah, life is happening through us, but we're blessed to be here on Office Hours episode like 6:30 or something. So thank
Yeah,
you for
it is.
showing up. Oh my goodness. Well, let's bring on our first guest. What do you say?
Briana. Yeah. So there she is. Briana Marbury. Yeah, we're gonna try that again. Briana. Slow my tongue down here. Anna Marbury. Briana Marbury. That's an
There
easy
you go.
spells well. I just can't get it out of my mouth. How
Wow.
are you today, Briana?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, doing really well. And
Happy to be here, David. I hope you're all is well with your mom.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I'm sure she'll be fine. So we all have great things to think about, and I appreciate everyone's patience. But I like to, always be vulnerable and illuminate the truth. So I spend too much of my life making excuses, and would rather just tell people, "Hey, I'm here, and I'm happy to be here." So looking forward to learning more about how you're empowering over 1 billion people, just like me.
yeah,
Yes, so I am the CEO of the Interledger Foundation. We are a global nonprofit organization that wants to make sending payments as easy as an email. You click an email right now, click send, it gets to the person fast, easy, and in an inexpensive way. We're trying to do the same thing for payments. So, uh-oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
um, our mission is to build equity and inclusion within Interledger, the network, which is a currency agnostic payments network. So when you think of Interledger, think of the rails that payments travel on.
mhm.
A really good example I like to use is if you have Cash App, I have Venmo, we can't exchange money with each other unless we get the other person's app. If they enabled Interledger on their systems, you would not have to do that, and we could just send money with a click of a button. And that's true if you were talking about remittances and cross-border payments. So in larger financial systems like central banks. So we are partnering with different organizations and people and institutions to give grants and awards when you're trying to build with Interledger. We currently have, I'm sorry, Blaine, you had a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious here because the idea of I'm familiar with M-Pesa as an example in
Yes,
Kenya.
exactly.
So is it kind of modeled along that line, just from a utility
So
standpoint?
no, so M-Pesa would be on top of the Interledger network,
Oh,
right? And
okay.
so if M-Pesa was Interledger enabled, you wouldn't just have to send money through M-Pesa from one M-Pesa person to another one. You could send money to anyone else who had an Interledger enabled wallet.
And I,
Interesting.
And Brianna, I have a question because I've been working for years with Blaine on equity and inclusion, diversity, ever since in sports, being Warren Moon's partner, Jackie Robinson, the Clemente family. But it's interesting in financial that a lot of people don't understand the inequities that exist. And there's, as you said, different payment platforms, and they are biased in themselves that by keeping exclusivity of certain payment options, we're actually creating a disadvantage for some people. Can you explain to our community how this actually impacts inclusion and equity when we're looking at payments?
Sure. So when we think about payments, if we're in a developed country like the US or Europe, sending payments is easy, right? But there are currently 1.4 billion people around the world who don't have access to digital financial services. And so if you open up that world and enable people to make a payment, right now, if someone wants to pay their energy bill or their gas bill, it could take them up to a half a day catching the bus to actually pay with cash in hand. If you make that a lot easier for them, think about not only the impact that it could make to those economies, but how much time people would get back as well.
Yeah, I mean, this technology is just fascinating to me. It's really now the idea of interoperable. You know, you said currency agnostic.
Yes.
So if I could transfer, I just came back from Japan,
Yes,
and
exactly.
so yeah, and I've
So
done a lot
say for instance, you wound up in a Japanese jail for whatever reason, partying too hard over there.
Oh, we weren't supposed to talk about that.
We were supposed to talk about that. I thought I got away.
And you're like, I need some money right away. And sometimes it can take up to 3 days, but Interledger, it's almost instantaneous that you can receive money. And the currency agnostic piece of it, it does the currency translation for you. And so it finds the least expensive way to send money and it gets it to its destination.
Okay, so my bail bondsman here could send it in dollars.
Exactly. Like, oh, we need to get Blaine out right away. Let's send this money over right away. So, yeah.
I'll call King Stallman here in San Diego. Now, how do people interact? Because obviously there has to be some sort of technology, a kiosk, a office to be able to interact. You just need the internet. Is that all that's needed?
So it would be the financial system. So it would be the Cash App and people who are building wallets and like the online digital financial banks that are building wallets to give people more options for payments to be able to use Interledger and become connected with the network. So right now we are doing a partnership with GateHub, which is a exchange that is based in Europe, and it also has operations in the US. We're doing proofs of concepts with between Mexico and the US because that border, that transaction border sends like $60 billion a year between that. So it's really with the digital wallets and the banks that you would interact with Interledger. And we have a grant opportunity open right now for people who are trying to build with Interledger, with their existing systems and with e-commerce. So if you go to our website, interledger.org, you'll see all the different grant opportunities that we have open. And our grants right now for those ranges and those levels are up to starting at $250,000 for the initial grant.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That is. Go, David. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say the e-commerce piece is a big piece that we haven't really talked about, where Blaine and I have been into Africa, for example, where there's so much opportunity, but people can't access e-commerce and they have no way of interacting through commerce to sell and buy goods. And once again, you talked about having to spend half of your day just to go pay an electric bill or something else. It's
Exactly.
even more cumbersome in interfering in e-commerce, which is absolutely an opportunity for underdeveloped countries to access an unbelievable market with some incredible products. And when we do and are capable of getting products from where we're doing some work into America, for example, retail, they do so well. So I see an extraordinary opportunity to change the economy of the world by giving this access on the e-commerce, even beyond payments.
Yes, absolutely. And that's an area that we're currently building. Our grant for that has already launched to start building on it. We have the beta that's just about ready to go. If you want to experiment with it, jump on it. That we are open, but it should be launching next year.
Great.
That's incredible. Well, we certainly appreciate. Oh, go ahead. Blaine?
I was just going to say, you can find out more about what Briana's up to at interledger.org.
Yeah, stay up to date with our newsletter.
Yep. So,
We have-
Briana, thank you so much. Hey, we've got a couple of other shows. I mean, I would love to have you on the Soul of Business podcast. So I'm going to be reaching out to you. We'll get you on that show as well. A little bit longer conversation than we had time for here today. And then David's got a couple of other shows. I know, we're going to keep you alive here in all kinds of different ways.
Thank you so much. And talk to you soon.
Thank you for your patience.
Bye.
Awesome. All right, my friend, we're rocking and rolling. We can do this show anywhere. And
Hey.
Jim Murphy's going to prove that. So we'll bring him on.
Yeah, Jim's not here yet. So I think we're going to just, real quickly go to Drew.
Oh, cool. Even better. You got it easy today.
How you doing?
This is what happens when Mobile Meltzer gets out into the world.
I know.
In my backyard of Hermosa Beach. Blaine, why don't you go ahead, since you're stable in a beautiful office? Let's introduce Drew.
Yeah, Drew, you've got this. I love this. Botanical group. The idea of fractional work here. There's some things that you're doing that I think around sustainable CPG consulting that Botanical is actually in front of here. Now, that's kind of a word salad setup here, but can you talk a little bit about what it is that you're bringing into play here? Because it's really unique, and I'm very fascinated to hear how you're kind of putting this together.
Sure. It does sound complicated for sure. But I specifically, in Botanical as a whole, is here to support really startups in the consumer packaged goods industry. So think of food companies, beverage companies, anything you'd find inside of like a Target for the most part, or a grocery store, supporting those businesses grow and kind of expand and find product market fit. So we're here in those businesses that specifically have sustainable slant to them. So they are very environmentally conscious. They might be B Corps or want to be B Corps, just haven't done the paperwork. So we're there to support them build their sales and their marketing teams and grow their go-to-market strategy. So any of the founder inspiration, people that have found funding and are really ready to throw gas on the fire, we're there to support them kind of, lead the charge in sustainability and, take out some of the incumbents.
And a lot of people don't think long enough. I obviously consult with a variety of different companies, and a lot of times, especially in the CPG space, success, because of the size, scope, and scale of distribution, can be the biggest nemesis. And people ask me why I recommend people like Drew at such an early stage. And I say, if you think it's difficult to get your product to market, be careful when you're successful in that market. The amount of capital in the dummy tax of companies that are destroyed by their own success in the CPG space because they don't understand the demand, the pricing, and the size, scope, and scale of distribution. And when you're talking about Target and Walmart and Costco and other distribution points, which your expertise lies, there is margins of millions in a quantified value of what Drew does. Drew, what are some of the hidden traps of success when you're working with these botanical companies when you are successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on one that's a massive one. And I think people get really excited when they get opportunities at, let's say, Target or like a regional Costco. And they're just ready to say yes to anything. And the problem with like a Costco or a Target is truly the volume that they could be doing, and also the programming necessary that you need to go into to pull it out of the store. So getting it in the store is certainly its own hurdle, but if you do not move it through the store and create sales velocity for that store, which sounds crazy, but you're responsible for really selling product through that store. You're essentially renting space for them. If you're not creating that sales velocity, they're not going to try you out again. And you're going to take maybe potentially several years to get another shot at a conversation at another regional Costco or Target. So I think making sure that you are ready from a financial capital standpoint on the inventory to invest in that particular opportunity and then to make sure that you have the programming necessary to pull it out of that store. That is a major trap. And I think it's tough for people to think about staying small and playing direct to consumer or regional chains, let's say with like a Lazy Acres, that is like a, I would say a smaller Whole Foods here in Southern California. But like those are the players that you can really learn from the feedback from who's on the floor. And those buyer decisions are a little bit easier. So don't go after these big hits and these big wins, grow sustainably, like grow in small scale and get that feedback. I think a lot of people, and I think we might even talk about this the last time we were on, or last time we were hanging out, but is really think about those feedback loops as well. And I think a lot of people are not doing the build, measure, learn, lean startup model. They're just like building and then like just trying to track what happens. And they are bringing in a little bit more of planning and consciousness to it. There are, despite like how unique your business or your product is, there's playbooks, like there's go-to-market playbooks. You're falling into a template. And I think a lot of that stuff is out there and available and are free resources out there to make sure that you're successful. But yeah, that's David, you nailed it. Like one of the biggest traps is unfortunately that exciting sale that eats companies and then they just, they tie up capital and they can't fulfill and they never get another shot. It just sucks the wind out of the momentum of them and their team.
Yeah, I got to acknowledge Blaine for something because I am going to reuse, and I want to get the right terminology. There was some sort of salad setup. What kind of salad was that?
Word salad.
Word salad.
Yeah, I gotta use that one because sometimes I'm tripping over my tongue in an interview, and it's like trying to get to a perfect softball setup, and instead I get a word salad setup. That's a beauty in itself. You saved the day with the word salad setup. Anyway, Blaine, hopefully that was the word salad setup that you needed to ask the next question.
It absolutely was. Yeah, the idea of success. One of the things that I'm very interested in here, I love how you're doing this, Drew, is you're helping these folks, these entrepreneurs, take a longer term view of what success is. It's not just get in the store. It's not just that's just a front end step. There's if we're looking at sustainability, we're looking at long term here, and I love the way that you put this in some of your literature here. Revenue paths without compromising our planet. I mean, when you take that without compromising our planet, and apply it to what we do as businesses. The purpose of business is to uplift the experience of being alive on this planet. To uplift the experience of being alive. I can't do that if I've got throwaways, if I haven't been looking down the road a ways. So people can find out more about you at botanicalgrp.com, right? Is that where we're going to go with this? There we go. Okay, Gigi. Learn more about Botanical Group at botanicalgrpgroup.com. Drew, loved having you. Love the conversation.
Thank you, Drew.
Thanks,
Hopefully
guys.
we'll see you next week, Drew. We'll be around in our hometown there. So we'll get an invite out to you and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Very he's amazing. People, and you and I get the benefit of this. I don't think they realize that, they see someone like Drew as an expense. And I try to formulate a vision of the difference between an investment and an expense. An expense is something that you'll never see a return on. An investment is something that you see a return on. And the exponentiality of having someone that knows the game and has the right mindset and heart to do it right and to help others is so important. So that's why I highlight or promote people like Drew and his company, because they're doing well to do good or doing good to do well, either way. And people just don't see, sometimes they're so short-sighted in expense versus investment. And I know you've been dealing with that as a consultant for so many years. I've run into, by the way, chairmen and CEOs of some of the world's biggest companies who find out that you've mentored me, and they almost hire me on the spot because anyone that's learned from you and Bob Proctor, they feel has great value. But they also will brag to me about the millions of dollars that you've made them, or the millions of dollars that you've saved them because of your experience. And it is a quantitative result. So I want to encourage people at any stage to really do a keen analysis of a strategic consultant that will get you to where you want to be or better, because they've already paid the dummy tax themselves or have helped avoid that for other companies as well. So Blaine, do we have another guest, or are we done?
Yeah, Sharad is here, I believe. And there he is. Great.
Yeah.
Good to have you here, Sharad.
Hey, David.
Hey, Sharad.
Yeah.
Sharad,
Hey, Blaine.
that's what I'm naming when I do my next movie. Sharad's going to be the name of the superhero, by the way. So
No, there you go. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to be there first day for sure.
I'm right below
No.
you right now. I'm in Del Mar, so you can come down and
Oh, you
visit
are?
me after this. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I live up in Carlsbad.
Oh, Carlsbad. Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a lot further north than you guys. I'm up in Seattle. So,
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're all on the West Coast, same time.
Say thank goodness.
Yeah.
yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, no kidding. And you talk about fragmented real estate. Del Mar, Kalispell, Whidbey Island. We got fragmented real estate here. And
Yep.
the reason I mention that in service of a word salad is, REsimpli is your organization. Sharad.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's a software platform, CRM platform here that looks at unifying what really is a pretty fragmented market in a lot of different ways.
Right.
Specifically, the real estate, the process of navigating, sale, closure. I mean, all of this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how does REsimpli actually?
So my name is Sharad. I'm the owner and founder of REsimpli. So REsimpli is an all-in-one software. Think of it as a business in a box for real estate investors, people that are buying and flipping houses, or they're buying properties directly from sellers without sellers needing to list properties on the market. So these investors are adding tons of values by helping homeowners close properties at their own terms, pay them cash, quick close, and be very flexible. So I started REsimpli when I moved from Chicago to Carlsbad, where I live now, and I still flip houses right outside of Chicago in India. And I started looking at kind of everything, all the software I would need to run my business, between managing the data, marketing data that I have, the leads that I have, calling them, texting them, emailing them. And I come from an accounting background, so then using QuickBooks. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to hire a couple of developers and just have them create something for myself. Just having one software where everyone on my team can run their business, and not having to, have these different software put together. And then if one breaks, everything breaks in your business. So at this point, we have thousands of investors all over the country using our platform. But the idea was just to add value. What can we do as investors, as a company, to add value to our end customers, so they can go on and add value to homeowners by helping them sell their properties fast.
And Sharad, there's so many areas through experience in real estate and insurance, mortgage, et cetera, that we have been able to utilize technology to create simplicity in a very cumbersome, antiquated way, where speed, for example, has cost billions and trillions of dollars in the market of real estate. Accuracy has cost billions and trillions of dollars in the marketplace. And now today, with a platform like REsimpli, that not only does it create the efficiencies and effectiveness, meaning that we can get things done faster when we're in a very emotional transaction, but we also get it done more accurately.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, there's some other value that we're providing in the actual ability to commit the transaction. What are some of the other capabilities beyond the speed in which we can do it and the accuracy that REsimpli simplifies for people who are flipping homes and dealing in fractionalized real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the big things that investors don't realize, that marketing generally tends to be one of the biggest expense for real estate investors, if not the biggest expense. Like when you think about it, like for agents or investors, they're in a marketing business. You have to market yourself in order to be in front of these homeowners. So you really need to know how much money you're spending on marketing versus how much money you're making. If you're sending out direct mail, doing Facebook ads, PPC ads, Google ads, But if you don't know how much money you're putting in for every dollar that you're putting into different marketing, how much money is coming back, then you're basically driving blind. You have no idea where you're going. You might be making, overall, you might be spending $100 and making $500, but what if all of that money is coming just from PPC and you're losing money on direct mail and everything else? So I think that's where our software comes in. It helps you be very efficient. We have several investors that are doing 7-figure, 8 figures in business. So for us, the goal is, of course, we want them to scale their business, but scale their business so they're making more net profit, right? If someone asked me a question, would you rather have a 7-figure business just for vanity purposes, but you're only making $100,000 in net profit? Or would you much rather have a business where you're only doing $700,000-$800,000 in revenue, but you're making $300,000-$400,000 in net income? So that's the kind of profit I want to, that's the kind of business I want to run. Of course, I want to scale up my, top line revenue, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on my net profit number. I want to be 30-40% net profit margin, because that's the money I get to keep. I don't get to keep the top line. I get to keep the net profit in the business to myself. So I think that's where a lot of investors, when they make the switch, they don't realize how much inefficiency they have, how much inefficiency they have in their marketing, how much inefficiency they have in their payroll. They could be spending 30-40% of their money in payroll, but is that what you really need to spend? Do you have too many people in your business, or do you have, are you overpaying people? I think that's where people need to be very mindful of it. Not just focus on the top line, but actually look at the bottom line, like how much money do you get to keep in the business? So that's where we really shine, and that's where we really stand out in giving you the KPIs, and it's all integrated. Like we even have accounting software built in. Coming from an accounting background, you don't need QuickBooks integration. You can just go in directly, manage your full bookkeeping within REsimpli.
Boy, yeah, that's really robust. I'm interested in one other piece here that is not the software itself, the networking component. You've got a mastermind group of real estate wholesalers.
Yes.
You've got over 1,400 members in this, and I would be interested. What's the synergistic impact of having that mastermind group, coupled with the REsimpli package that
it's been absolutely amazing. Like, we've gotten so much value out of it. Our members have gotten so much value out of it. Just sharing the wealth of knowledge that members have, right? We do a similar call to what you're doing here. Every week we bring on an experienced guest on the call, and then it's open to anyone just to jump in and learn from these industry experts that are doing very high revenue, that are doing very high scale business. And they simply break down. It's like a Q&A session. Anybody can jump on and ask questions. But the mastermind, I mean, that's where the value comes in, right? You could have the best tool in the world, but if you're not using it properly, if you don't know how to, if you have the fastest car in the world, but if you don't know how to drive, what's the point of having the fastest car? So I think that's where having the mastermind plays a tons and tons of value, where a new investor just starting out sees someone who's doing 7-8 figures in their business, but then this expert talks about, hey, I just started 3 years ago from where you are, but these are the steps that I took. It gives so much inspiration, gives so much encouragement to someone who's starting new to okay, if they just keep following the process that you have, it's a very simple process. Yes, sometimes you may get lucky, you may find a deal in your first month, sometimes it may take longer, but having all these experts or high value investors that are doing these tons and tons of deals, just coming in and talking about their experience and just sharing the things that they failed at. Everybody's great on Instagram talking about how great they're doing, but when you actually talk about things that you're not doing so good at, that makes you more relatable, that other people can connect with you and see where you can add value to other people.
Perfect.
Amazing. Well, the fastest way to get to where you want to be is not only find someone who's already there, but get the right platform to use. That's what Sharad is doing for us. I look forward to seeing you soon. We have a dinner next week to invite you to as well. So we'll all reconvene. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you. And you can find out more at REsimpli.com. And if you want to find out more about Sharad directly, REsimpli.com/Sharad. And just like
so much, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think that kind of wraps us up here, buddy.
Takeaway of the day. What do you got?
Word salad.
I love it.
Gotta
love it.
fumble our way forward here. Yeah.
That is so good. I will always remember that. For me, the takeaway is that no matter what is in our way, there's always a way, as long as you find the light, the love, and the lessons and the humor in it as well. And I find a lot of humor, although things do get challenging at times for both of us. We're still here. We're showing up, and the community, I know, appreciates it. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks so much, Blaine. All right, everyone, that'll do it. Come and see us. We will be in Orange County on Monday and Tuesday. Come and join us. We'll be filming 2 Minute Drill Season 6, GoFundMe, a first season of a new show. And Thursday, we're launching the Palazzo, the poker room, and the event center, and the podcast studio coming into the Palazzo. Come and join us. Most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you later.